Hey everyone, how are you today? I wanted to share some information with you that's hopefully helpful. First of all, my name is Chris Hooten. I'm a mortgage loan officer, and I've been doing this for over 20 years. And one very common confusing part about the loan process is something called closing costs. And what makes it so confusing is that it means something different to most people, okay? I'm going to tell you what it means to me and hopefully make it easy to understand. When I say closing costs, I am referring to everything outside of the down payment that you're going to need to pay to close the transaction. Now, when I say you're going to need to pay, that's a little misleading because closing costs are something that the seller can contribute to in any form, anywhere from nothing at all to 100% of the closing costs. That part's all negotiable. We'll get into that in a different video. So closing costs, I like to put it into three categories. Okay, first you have your loan fees. Okay, so that means what the lender is charging you and or what additional loan fees are coming along with the program that you're using. So for example, some first-time home buyer or down payment assistance programs charge an additional fee on top of the lender fees. So that's column number one, is the loan fees. Okay, column number two is a big column. This is where all the miscellaneous fees are. So your title and escrow charges, your appraisal, your notary fee, your transfer tax, your recording fee, all the different inspections and things like that. So that list is pretty long. It is itemized for you. We give you your initial disclosures have a list as best as we can do up front, and then that list is updated through the process because every transaction is a little bit different. Some have more fees, some have less fees. So that's column number two there. What we'll refer to as the miscellaneous fees. And then column number three is what's called your prepaid items. Okay, and people forget about this column quite a bit. In most loans, almost every loan, you have to prepay a couple of things. So your first installment of property taxes, so the first 6 months of your property taxes, your first year's homeowner's insurance premium has to be paid at closing or upfront. And then if you're impounding your taxes and insurance, which most people do, meaning including it in their payment, then you have to set a couple of months aside of each, both your taxes and your insurance. So those are your prepaid items. So when you add all that up, loan fees, miscellaneous fees, prepaid fees, that is all under the umbrella that I refer to as your closing costs. And as I mentioned at the beginning, these fees can be contributed to by the seller. Okay, every transaction is different, every seller is different, so that part's negotiable, but not all of those fees are always going to be paid by the buyer. So I wanted to give a quick explanation of what closing costs are because they're misconstrued so many times, and sometimes they're left out completely. We only talk about down payment and forget about the closing costs. And sometimes your closing costs can be more than your down payment. So it's a very important thing to know, and it's probably the most confusing and misunderstood part of the transaction. So guys, I hope this was helpful. As always, reach out to me with any questions. My name is Chris Hooten. I am your MLO.